Welcome to the Asian financial crisis. What can you expect from this video? Well, firstly, you can expect an overview explaining the crisis. Then you can expect financial panic. Then you can expect a section about the Japanese commercial banks and what influence they had on this financial panic. After that, expansion in Asia. And finally, to conclude, answering questions such as who triggered the Asian financial crisis and why did the panic start in Thailand and not South Korea. An overview. Well, the Asian financial crisis was a period where financial crisis largely affected Asia, and this was in 1997. Initial panic began in July 1997 and continued till the end of summer. It affected the East Asian Tigers. The East Asian Tigers consist of countries such as Thailand, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Singapore. The second stage began in late October 1997, and this affected countries such as Indonesia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and later spread to Japan before even bringing down South Korea. The first stage of the crisis broke on the 2nd of July 1997 when Thailand devaluated the baht, therefore abandoning its exchange rate peg with the US dollar under pressure from currency speculators. The baht had come under attack in the late 1996 following the decline of the Thai stock market and corresponding troubles in real estate. In March 1997, speculative pressures against the Thai baht renewed when the government intervened and assisted the Thai finance companies who were overburdened with bad property loans. After the Thai government couldn't pay back the loans, many foreign capital investments fled, forcing the Thai government to devaluate the currency and call in the IMF. The devaluation of the baht and the broken promise over the financial foreign institutions increase the risks of investing within the region. Therefore, the Thai government promised that they would help invest with foreign investors. However, they broke this promise because they couldn't afford to pay the foreign investors any more investments. After this, there was a domino effect. Firstly, the Philippines allowed the peso to float, and so did Malaysia. They also let the ringgit float. However, because of these floating exchange of currencies, the neighboring country Singapore were forced to depreciate its currency. The International Monetary Fund. The IMF announced a rescue plan for Thailand, which calmed investors' fears and allowed pressure on currencies in the region to calm down. In addition, Indonesia also called help from the IMF to help renew the currency pressure in Northeast Asia. And finally, on 4th December, South Korea signed the third and largest IMF bailout package in the region, which they stated at 57 billion, while it was actually almost 100 billion. The financial panic. Thailand's devaluation alerted international investors to the size of short-term debts, which far exceeded available foreign exchange rates. Therefore, this created panic among the foreign investors. This situation was made worse by policy mistakes by Asian governments and poorly designed international rescue packages. The greatest weakness of the financial panic explanation is the failure to identify the trigger. Japanese commercial banks. The Japanese commercial banks sparked the crisis when they began withdrawing credit from the region in early 1997. This was because they had to respond to deteriorating domestic conditions back in Japan. The crisis in Thailand, the crisis began in Thailand. This was because most of Japanese loans in foreign banks were in Thailand. Um, this made Japan one of the most important marginal lenders to Thailand in Asia. Due to poor domestic conditions, Japanese banks had been forced to look for profitable investments abroad. They extended loans to subsidiaries of Japanese manufacturers who had moved their products facilitations abroad to remain competitive in the face of the rising yen. In addition, funding also came from interbank loans in the euro market and subordinated debt issues in the US. Japanese banks offered mostly US dollar denominated loans of short maturity to private sector borrowers and financial institutions across Asia. In addition to loans, bank funds were invested in high-yielding emerging market bonds issued by Asian borrowers. Japanese banks were the highest suppliers of bank credits in Asia, with $275 billion of loans, which accounted for one-third of cross-border lending. This position gave them considerable structural power, making them the key marginal lender in these markets. To conclude, who triggered the Asian financial crisis? Well, Japan triggered this Asian financial crisis because the Japanese commercial banks were the main culprits. As they were the marginal lenders holding the largest share of foreign loans in Thailand, Japanese banks triggered the devaluation of the baht, which resulted in an outflow of funds. Japanese banks were responding to domestic banking crisis in Japan, where low profitability, growing problem loans, and declining interest rates had forced Japanese banks to venture abroad. Why did the panic start in Thailand and not South Korea? Well, both Thailand and South Korea experienced drops in their stock markets over 1997 to 1996, which resulted in rising bankruptcies in 1997 for both of these countries. However, when Japanese banks withdrew from these markets, the Thai baht peg collapsed, where the Korean won peg held until the end of the year. Moreover, Thai authorities defended their peg more aggressively than the Koreans. As a result, the Thais depleted their foreign exchange reserves more quickly, where the Koreans conserved their reserves by allowing the won to float downwards before abandoning the peg, where their reserves finally ran out later that year. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this presentation was informative.